that I would love to get to. If we all remember the days of MySpace, talk about that for a second because this is all contingent, all tied.
I love crowd surfing, but it is not something I should continue to do if I value my physical health.
Joe, you're getting too old for that.
Several months later.
Mario, do whatever you want to sync an audio before I intro. God, I fucking love you so much, bro.
You have to say, I read that in your voice, like 100%.
Get your eyeliner at the ready, because Ridiculous Passions is going emo. With Mario. Who? That Mario Rivera. From My Chemical Romance to Rocky Horror and Hair Dye, we're so excited to talk to the one and only Mario Rivera about the music and culture that shaped us and so much more. Mario, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. Yes. Thank you so much for having me on. And yeah, we're going to be talking about a massive subsection of my life. So this is going to be great.
And we're not just here with Mario, of course. As ever, my incredible, cozy, delightful co-host, Cait Rose.
Hello, friends.
How are you doing, Cait?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to sit down with Mario and talk about, I think a subculture of all three of our, teenager era phases.
Collective beings.
Exactly.
Early 2000s. Very excited.
Yeah, adolescence from across different parts of the world. And for those who aren't, who just listening on whatever the podcast services we eventually put this on are, you probably want to go check out the video version, because without that much coordination, except for a very loose Google Doc, of course we're all wearing black, as we should be. And for those who don't know, though, Mario, who you are, tell us who you are, and even if it's not what we're going to be getting into for the majority of today, just what the hell are you passionate about? What do you love, man?
Yes. Well, I am Mario Rivera. I am a video creative professional, if you will. I've worked in gaming now for the last 3 to 4 years in terms of different websites. DualShockers was my first major output where I was in control of the YouTube channel over there, doing some interesting projects, including review videos and other podcasty things, to now over at TechRaptor, where I run the YouTube channel over there. And I'm also bringing on freelancers and trying to give them their first start, the start that I've never got when I first did video in the early 2000s. So very much excited to be doing that. But my main passion, yes, movies, videos, games, comics, all these things. But there was definitely a period in time in my life where I was definitely really, really into eyeliner, fishnets, and painting my nails and listening to some very emotional set of music in the early, we call them the early aughts. Is that what we call them now? Is that what the early 2000s?
I still refer to it as the early 2000s. Like,
early 2000s?
yeah. Aughts, Cait, where are you at with an aught?
To me, it feels like 3 years ago, you know? I have now been graduated from high school for 12 years. I graduated class of 2010. And I'm still living in those days most of the time in my mind, I'm not going to lie. So, I don't know.
Yeah. My haircut choices have evolved, but they're very similar to back then as well still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, today was the day where I was like, shaved and showered and got my hair cut yesterday, and I was like, you know what? I've been styling it, doing the Aaron Rodgers sexy pushback, as much as I can.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, today it needs to. It's been cut, but it needs to be as emo for. Oh,
there we go.
You've got it,
Joe. I was really hoping, I was envisioning you coming on to podcast today with like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 hair.
I know. The thing is, I would. Yeah, Mario's got it more than me though. Let's be honest. Yeah, yeah. Play. Wait, no.
Do any of you remember a YouTube video from that time where someone put a montage together of emo Spider-Man to that song, I'm an emo kid.
I'm an emo
Or like, I
kid.
must be
This is
emo.
as can be.
Yeah,
that song.
You'd be non-conforming too if you look just like me.
And it doesn't help that I couldn't get my hair to that flippy thing either, like that guy from that band can do. Some days,
I'm an emo kid, non-conforming as can be. You'd be non-conforming too if you look just like me.
Oh my god, yes.
A lot of that song, it really is a bit inappropriate. 100% now.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like
it did not.
it's
But,
like
the first verse or so is okay.
Yeah.
Like
Or even the hook's like, I must be emo.
Yeah, pretty much just that
Yeah.
part. Yeah, that's all you need to remember.
It's what. You know, let's not date this podcast. It's what Machine Gun Kelly.
I already outed myself as an old millennial.
It's what Machine Gun Kelly tried and failed to do most recently with the awful emo girl, which it will be the last mention of that on any
that one song, and that was it. I'll be honest.
yeah.
So, hold on. I know you said you didn't want to mention him, but I got it.
No, hit it.
That first album was not terrible.
No. Tickets to My Downfall is not too bad, genuinely.
No,
but it's
genuinely.
and also he gets credit for really figuring out the crest of the wave of the pop punk emo revival in the mainstream, in the true mainstream. We're not talking like sad boy pop punk, which has been experiencing its regenesis for many a year.
Total
now.
D-bag? Yes, he is. He's a total
worst kind of person. But
yes.
I want to just start this at least where we were talking about in our little Ridiculous Passions preamble. The show is Ridiculous Passions, by the way. You know, we talk about what people love and all the things that entail it. So I had the seed of this idea before Cait and I had even recorded the first episode, I think, when you were just doing a Twitch stream on your own channel, that Mario Rivera, and it was, maybe 10, 11 my time, and I was like, Mario's watching the My Chemical Romance, behind the music making of the video for I'm Not Okay?
Yes. I'll try to explain that.
Hit it, man.
That was during a period where I was not doing much during my days. So I was just like, all right, cool. I need something to do. At the time, I was watching a lot of Hassan videos. Been watching a lot of Hassan Piker because he does nothing all day but live stream, and I just like his formatting. And so he was reacting to MasterChef. I was like, I can react to things too. And my idea was I've always wanted to do a concept for reacting to old music videos. And one of the first big memories that I've ever had with that really was actually watching the behind the scenes music video of the My Chemical Romance I'm Not Okay video. And so that night I was like, yeah, let me see if I can find it. And sure enough, it's easy to find. It's on YouTube. And we watched it basically in its entirety. And I remember that was my first discovery kind of like a band by myself. Like a lot of the music influences that I, gather as a kid was either someone showed me something or I was told by a television, right? But really it was something that I felt like I discovered it myself. And even though, I just said I was been told by a television, I was the one that actively wanted to watch the thing as opposed to I was watching a movie and the song was playing. You know what I'm saying? Like a Disney Channel will have their pop songs that will pop up. It's like, okay, now that's part of my vernacular. This was I was flipping through channels and I was genuinely interested in these kids that were misfitty and just doing weird stuff in the music video. And it just appealed to me to a great level. So I've now become My Chemical Romance is probably still one of my all-time favorite bands of all time. And where they started when I saw them then to even learning about their prehistory to now where they are to me as some of the ultimate rock stars.
And Cait, as someone who is currently wearing a My Chemical Romance shirt, where did apart from Hot Topic, where did you first? Where does it come from for you?
Oh yeah, I walked into Hot Topic. I thought the shirt looked cool. So
Oh yeah, definitely.
I kind of fell into the My Chemical Romance etc. loving those bands.
Yeah.
When I entered high school, in elementary, middle school, I definitely was just like the top 40s pop girl. That was the music I liked. And then the kids that I became friends with, we hung out in what we called the knoll. And I know other schools also have a knoll, which is basically just like a grassy area that's kind of like off by the buildings, maybe a place that's like easy to like smoke pot or like easy to like
or kill a president. Got it.
The grassy knoll. Yeah, that's my association. It's just like I've been watching Mad Men for the first time, like properly all the way through, and it's like
Which connects back to Gerard Way because he wrote The Umbrella Academy and he kills JFK in that book. Anyways, continue.
wow.
Bam.
Amazing.
But
yeah, you know, I became friends with these kids, and they it's weird to say kids because like we were the same age, obviously, but yeah, they all dressed like this. They loved Dashboard Confessional. They loved MCR, Taking Back Sunday, you know, all those kinds of bands, and I wasn't even really sure if I liked it, but it seems like, you know, I feel like usually you like that stuff and then you're trying so hard to fit in. And I was kind of the opposite. Like I was trying to like the, you know, alternative stuff to be cool in this group.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt fake sometimes because not that I didn't enjoy it, but like, you know, it was kind of like the opposite of like a Mean Girl situation. Like instead of like trying to look like what the cool kids looked like, I was trying so hard to look different. Like almost to a fault where I was like kind of, you know, in denial of like my own maybe like personal passions and interests. So yeah, I mean, high school, weird time, you know, but yeah, that's how I fell into that music scene personally.
Yeah, it's usually this group of people that pull you into, and like My Chemical Romance was the first one that I discovered for myself, but for all the other ones, they were pretty much influenced by others. And I remember post grade school, which at that time was like late stage NSYNC and Britney Spears were happening, but I was heavily into like Eminem and all the Chronic album people of like Exhibit, Snoop Dogg. Like I got into that for some reason, but it wasn't until after high school where like I was going to this card shop because I also really loved Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. That I met this group of kids that were all had these like really tight jeans, and they had like these awesome like chain wallets, and they were playing hacky sack out front. They were playing
awesome chain wallets.
Awesome chain wallets.
Heard those
awesome chain wallets and hacky sack. That's right. It's a killer combo. Anyway,
killer combo. We were playing Dungeons and Dragons in the back, and the card shop only played Q101 in Chicago, which of course was like if you listen to just only Audio Slave, Deftones, and like very like grungy music. But then the kids were all like, I like Taking Back Sunday, I like Dashboard Confessionals, I like a band called Thursday, AFI, Tiger Army, like all of these bands that I had no idea who the hell they were. Rise Against was another big one. And then I was like, what is this music? And then I started listening to it for myself. And then, yeah, it just sort of permeated then with like, I remember my very first day at high school, the first music videos that I remember watching that day, because I would go on a channel over here called Fuse, and they were playing American Idiot, Green Day's American Idiot, and My Chemical Romance's I'm Not Okay. Like that was like the first things I saw going into high school, which then began my 4 years there. So definitely permeated with a group of people. All of a sudden now I'm changing because I'm becoming more social with this group that I enjoy being around.
I genuinely feel as though Green Day's American Idiot and MCR's Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge, obviously with I'm Not Okay, Helena, or Helena,
Ghost of You,
as we called it, Ghost of You, and and Boulevard of Broken Dreams on the other side of it, and Jesus of Suburbia, like these were like two like almost simultaneous. I think they both came out in 2004. Like
I believe the same
like
year, yeah.
Rosetta Stones
Yes.
for an entire generation. And for me, I think it was Green Day first, because like I had heard, some of, a bit of their stuff growing up, Basket Case, not when it originally came out, but like, after the fact being, revisited. And then, yeah, these, this iconic imagery of, the green, almost like Nickelodeon like, flood of, green coming out of those speakers for the American Idiot video. And then, yeah, I think I recall seeing, because I think it was the first single, seeing the video for Helena before. I'm not, okay, I could be 100% wrong here, but that's the one in my memory that it was. And,
Sure.
These incredible, like, the balletic performance in that, and the imagery of the kind of like the reaching for the camera, like the it really spoke to me in a way that I had seen with other artists. Robbie Williams being one of the main ones, just in, like there is literally a music video called Rock DJ where the uncensored version of it has him like dancing, tearing off his clothes.
Yes.
And it's a pop song. Oh my god, are you familiar with this, Mario?
I love that. And he rips off his skin.
He rips off his skin, and he's a CGI skeleton.
That was one of my favorite music videos, is him just like going, because he's a beautiful man, and then you see him taking off all this like gear, and then the next thing you know, he's just ripping, and like it's like 100% like imagery like that, or even like the Helena video, right? So yeah, now I'm Not Okay came out first, but then Helena came out, and it was very much like this is their operatic. Now they went from being high school kids to like this is opera, this is like black, black theater, and then in my mind, my imagery goes to like movies like The Crow, and like taking like that lifestyle, like that imagery, and so yeah, like 100%, and then yeah, Robbie Williams, also Millennium, fantastic song.
Cait, we'll go down the Robbie Williams rabbit hole. I'll take you to Stoke-on-Trent. It's going to happen. You're familiar vaguely with it after me.
I may or may not be on YouTube looking up Robbie Williams music videos.
Just rock DJ, like uncensored. I don't.
Rock DJ.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's the name of the song. Yeah, Robbie Williams, Rock DJ, uncensored. I don't know. Yeah, if you skip to like, I don't know, maybe like 3 minutes in or whatever. Yeah, you'll start to see.
Oh,
him.
It has to be uncensored. There's a censored version. I'm seeing it. Oh, that's his muscle. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. There's okay.
It's pretty graphic.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
okay, that's.
This was on a DVD that my mum let me and my sister watch, just like in our living room in our family home.
His butt, he squeezes his butt. Oh my god.
They would show clips of that in America, but they wouldn't show the whole thing, I don't think.
Yeah. Robbie Williams never broke America, and this kind of video...
Just Millennium.
Yeah, it was Millennium, and that was it. And he really tried hard ever after that. But yeah.
Yes.
You know what? Considering his... But maybe beneath the Bible Belt, they weren't going to handle Rock DJ very well.
No, probably not.
Cait,
the top comment on this video is, "This video made me cry in my childhood." This comment has 12,000 likes.
Whereas for me and Mario, it's the third Rosetta Stone, and we're just sort of like, yes, I remember seeing this. I saw the clips, and they are forever embellished in our memory. And this is probably why we also like horror movies now.
Yes.
Okay, can I quickly talk about a music video that has stuck with me?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about music videos.
Hoobastank, The Reason.
Of course.
For some reason. So I was big into...
Maybe the reason. Sorry.
Love it.
I was huge into the VH1 Top 20 Countdown. That was my thing on the weekends. I would even take like an hour to get on our barely there internet to to vote on the website, which took so long with dial-up, but I did it because I was like, my vote, rock the vote, MTV style. My vote matters. I need to vote for what I think are the best music videos. And the very first time I watched Hoobastank the Reason, it's like a 3-minute action drama movie basically. Like that's something I loved about music videos back then is like I feel like they're not, I don't know. Well, music videos still kind of are like movies now, but like in a way that's more theatrical and annoying. And like in the 2000s, they seemed like there was just like this depth to them. It was like
I think that narrative was more of an important element for music videos being made back then. There was an idea of even a loose narrative, whereas now, and this is not a detriment to the incredible skill of people who put music videos together because there's so much of it, but like now there's an element where like they are almost a bit more like commercials, like perfume commercials, or or just try, really showing off the artist or the band, and or at least they don't. I don't know. Even like watching recently. And product placement was rife in the mid 2000s with music videos. Of course it was. Yeah. But watching and I quite liked Avril Lavigne's most recent Love Sucks, Bite Me. I thought that was a pretty damn good revisitation or modern reinvention for her in terms of going back to the more punky side of her roots. But watching the music video for Bite Me, I was like, oh god, I just want this to maybe for them to have at least tried to shoot it and make it look more low budget rather than the glossy it's her getting out of her Jeep and she's mad at she's going to smash up her boyfriend's place or whatever. And it was just, I was like, I know exactly what they're trying to do, but it's not there, and it's just and the
There's so many, there are so many videos like that I wish that they would for that. Here's who I think that could be doing awesome music videos. I think they just don't hit as hard as they think they do. And that's Billie Eilish's music videos. Hear me out. There's some things I think that they're trying to do, but it does feel more commercial than anything else, especially like Bad Guy is just to promote that song to be on every fucking thing that it could possibly be. By the way, Cait, did you know that The Reason is actually the first part of a second part video?
No.
There's a sequel to The Reason. It's called Same Direction.
I was a Hoobastank fan. I listened up to them. I went up to 4 Never. They're I think their last studio album. And I did not even know that there was a part 2 to the Reason music video, and it was the video for Same Direction.
Same Direction is the sequel to the Reason video, which I'm trying to remember.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's a.
Sorry, I just started watching it right now, and it's like, oh my god! It's the shop owner. He has the police, and they found their bunker. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it even has the sequel in parentheses in the title. That's crazy.
Yeah, so
I had no idea.
It took me forever to be like, yeah, there's a sequel to The Reason. It's in music video form.
Well, see, here's the thing. If they didn't show it on VH1, if it wasn't a major music video, I wasn't watching it. It came out the same time, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't as popular as The Reason,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was on that one album.
Good Charlotte is in this?
I believe so.
Okay.
Oh,
I recognize
good Charlotte.
What's
now
the
they
lead
had
singer
some
from
videos. Ben, I always forget which one's which. Benji. It's Benji and Joel Madden, but they're twins, which doesn't help matters. I think it's Benji is the lead singer.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Joel's the guitarist. Yeah, Joel's the guitarist.
Nailed it. I get to keep my Good Charlotte credibility.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a subset of bands that were more like the punky era, but they still fall in line with all this. It's Good Charlotte, it's Sum 41. They're sort of like the preamble to then what we get to Taking Back Sunday videos, to all the way to AFI specifically blowing up in this specific period. And those were also some of those music videos that are trying to tell a story in the background while you're dealing with something. And I adore those so.
Oh,
Oh, hello.
In America, there was two music channels. There was MTV, which was no music videos and Room Raiders, and then there was a channel that was dedicated to just music videos, but programming around it. There was like the heavy metal show, which had like this really awesome like metal chick that was doing like metal videos. But then there was Steve's Untitled Rock Show, which the whole joke of it was untitled and it could be anything you want it to be, and that was awesome. But they would always show like The Used, Under Oath, Taking Back Sunday. What is that band that Skrillex was in before he was anything else? From First to Last.
I wasn't gonna get there. You did though.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and it was awesome because that's how I had discovery for it. YouTube wasn't there yet. YouTube really wasn't until maybe sophomore year of high school for me, which was like 2006.
Yeah,
7, right?
Yeah, and even then, I was still most mornings before school while it was a thing. You know, we had instead of MTV, like we had this like, you know, like free like satellite television, like, you know, not cable quite, but there was like TMF, which was the Music Factory.
Okay.
But then on Channel 4, like the more sort of like alternative, you know, public broadcasting channel, they had B4, and it was like B4, it's a hit. And you know, that was where I ended up, you know, first like really seeing, like going even further back, like the video for Linkin Park's like In the End and Numb, and we would talk about it, me and my friends, when we would get to school, like, oh, did you see the video for, you gotta check it out, like, you know, you gotta, you know, tune in tomorrow, hopefully it'll be on, like, and it was that kind of I think that feeling of, like you were talking about earlier, Mario, something you discovered for yourself, something you happened upon that felt like it was yours, like, you know, the first, you know, artist or video which, you know, connected with you in a way that felt different to what you were brought up on, what your parents listened to, or the music that was being brought up to you with friends or, you know, other people you knew. It's really something, and it's indelible. Like it doesn't leave you if you. And some people tend to, I think, have songs they liked when they were younger, but, and this is not to be like, you know, they're not into music, you know, but there's people who, when you ask them what their music taste is, they, like, who's your favorite artist? They don't have an answer of like, that they did not listen to music in the same way growing up, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the way that you discover music growing up is so different vastly, especially in our age where there was no internet. It was all simply just like, who are the people around you? Then that's going to influence you. Like, okay, when it was with my mother, we would take road trips. We listened to the first Britney Spears album, a Journey mixtape, and Shania Twain, right? So I got all that rolled into there. And then I got my crazy metal uncle who would teach me about Iron Maiden, Metallica, AC/DC, and Judas Priest. And then you got like your father who is like in the house music. And so that he's going to show you Eminem, which he shouldn't have done that. He really should not have done that. But you know what? I did bleach my hair that year. Yes, I did. Of course we all did.
My God, yes.
Oh
that
my
is
God.
a solid mix right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all those people around you that just like you start plucking things. Like, I remember there was a cute girl when I was visiting in 1998. She told me about Smashing Pumpkins. All right. Now I know Smashing Pumpkins because of that one cute person that I met when I was 8 years old.
And you know, on the way back from wherever you were in 1998, you're just sort of like, today is the greatest. Oh my God, that's
No, that's so good.
I think I might need to. Cait, are you on the same page as me? Where it's like, I just wanted to know more about the crazy metal uncle.
I mean, he does sound pretty cool, but I also have to say, like, my father would have never showed me Eminem. Like, that was not.
No, yeah, my dad was wild. I saw Predator, RoboCop, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory all in the same year when I was 5. All right. So
there's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going.
Yes, 100%. Will absolutely just destroy a kid's sense of being. So that's fine. I thought, what was it? The Cable Guy was a comedy. It's not a comedy.
I still have not seen that movie because I'm scared.
It's kind of terrifying if you really think about it. It's not
That's
funny.
what I've heard.
Really,
I still don't know what it's about. I'm too afraid to find out.
It is funny. It is funny. Don't get me wrong.
It's a dark comedy.
It's a dark comedy, but still, the concept of it kind of scary. But yes, you know, you grow up with all these different influences, and then when you find something for yourself, it's like, oh my god, the world opens up, because it's like I'm the one that's actually putting this in, and I want to transition that possibly to the next evolution of that, which was coming from watching it on television and hearing from people around you. But then MySpace was another heavily connected universe that all of a sudden the world just exploded for me in a lot of ways.
Mario, I was literally about to say, like, I feel like my first jump into discovering music for myself was seeing what songs my friends were putting as their MySpace profile songs.
Yes.
That I still remember. That is how I discovered Hey There Delilah by Plain White Tees.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, this song is so
Chicago
beautiful.
band.
I've never heard of this band. And then, you know, oh my gosh, yeah.
And I heard it everywhere.
MySpace
It wouldn't go
music
away.
was huge. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And then you would make them in your top 8, and you'll have like a whole music section of just like, here's me and Thursday, or like here's me, and my whole page has the My Chemical Romance picture, like on the first album or the second album, and then you know, you would customize these things, and there'll be playlists, and that's how I first listened to music, because Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, none of this existed. It was simply just like, how do you access these things? iTunes obviously channeled the market, and I was not rich enough to own an iPod, which, me saying iPod, I almost said iPhone right there when I almost said it.
I don't have the MySpace touchstone, because by the time I got to MySpace, I went on it and I was like, I don't understand how to use this. I don't like it. And I deleted my profile like within a week.
No, totally.
The interface was horrible. And this is,
It's bad. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
So bad.
But on the, I couldn't afford an iPod. Like I think maybe like down the line, I ended up like inheriting like a shuffle or something. But like I had I had like this Sony, like, well, no, actually, no. First of all, I had a Discman. I inherited like my dad's like Sony Discman, and you know, was getting albums for myself when I could like earn, you know, raise up the pocket money. I was listening to the likes of kind of originally early on, like 2003, like before I really started getting into like, you know, it was like Blink-182, the self-titled album. It was Outkast's Speakerbox, The Love Below, the double album, and like Eminem, and getting into, you know, that side of things, being the whitest kid at the whitest school, listening to like hip hop and R&B. And I would go to our local library where you could borrow books. You know, you could enrich your mind. You could study the great works of literature, and I would borrow CDs, and I would go home and I would burn them to my. I would like burn the tracks.
I'm happy you said that. I'm so happy you said that, because I learned that while in college, which it took too long because I didn't go to the library. I was like, the library for books? Nerd. They have movies too? What, Land Before Time? I'm not going to rent that. No, it wasn't until like I was living with my dad and I was going to college, and he had a library there, and I don't know what possessed me to go in. Maybe I had a homework to do. I'm not sure. But then I noticed that they had like racks of CDs there, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why? Wait, I could take these? I could take these home? You know what I could do with these, right? All right, well, sign up for that library card, grab like the entire discography of like New Order, Jack White's albums, and a bunch of other things. The Raconteurs album, I remember I grabbed that time, and I just scanned everything. And I returned it the next day, and I grabbed a whole bunch more. So it's like, I felt like I was stealing. Like, you wouldn't download a car. illegally download all these CDs. So I was having a blast.
You wouldn't steal a library, but you would steal the collective, metal alternative, indie rock and roll CDs that they have there.
That's right. Man, my iTunes library would have been it's so dope at that time.
Also, what was your illegal music download vehicle of choice? Was it a Napster? Was anyone, or were you both pure souls?
It was after Napster. After Napster kind of got godded by Metallica, so it wasn't really prevalent at that time. However, the two that before I stopped doing it entirely, and this is me admitting 20-year-old crime, so you can't come after me. Government or whatever, or Metallica, please don't come after me.
Lars Ulrich's at the door.
God damn it! Sign my autograph. It was BearShare was the original one, which it's just another one of those like
it's just a file sharing
it's a file sharing P2P peer to peer. Like, hey, you type in I want the discography of Usher. And then you'll like get maybe one song, but then the other song will be Bill Clinton saying something racist or something. Like it's something awful is the way that system used to work.
Always a toss up, always a risk,
Yeah, it's like, am I getting the full thing I want, or am I getting a real bad video that I shouldn't be watching at 12? It's one or the other.
Yeah, mine was LimeWire. And
that was my second one.
I was a LimeWire girl. Yeah.
LimeWire came after. LimeWire was heavily after.
I still thank all the digital gods that there may be to this day that my dad never ended up like just like ever looking at whatever I had ended up putting on the PC through my LimeWire downloads, because there were even times where I sort of like was mid download of something or had finished downloading something, and then I just rushed to like hit the power button because I'm like, I think it's like I just push the hard shutdown on it, pull the plug, it's just like, because it's probably I was just so scared it was a virus, because of course it probably was.
Yeah.
malware just like creeping around in the back. Like
I was like, I don't know what's wrong with the computer, Mom. It just did that. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at videotapes. Like whatever you're saying. That was life. No, but yeah, that was my choice, was BearShare and then LimeWire.
BearShare. I want to look after this. I'm going to look into the history of BearShare, because it sounds like a precursor to something else entirely.
I know it does sound very, very progressive. It does.
Really BearShare was a trailblazer in the early internet days.
That's right. Taught me a lot when I was young. But otherwise, to put a semi cap on like MySpace being a discovery thing, MySpace became not only, I would say, for like expressing yourself in a lot of ways, with the way that your profiles looked, but putting your top 8 and putting your top bands there, and a lot of cool things. Finding new music, writing bad poetry was another thing, which I felt like was also part of the emo lifestyle. Was just, hey, let me put my feelings out in the most public way possible. And make a book about it 10 years later that you could buy on Amazon at the Inside You, the Words Inside You by Mario Rivera. Don't look that up on Amazon. It's 99 cents.
There totally won't be a link below.
No link below. I can't find the physical book. I feel bad. Someone actually printed me, my friend Logan printed me a physical copy of that book. But yeah, anyways, yeah, so MySpace. Rest in peace. But you know what took over MySpace for a small period of time before that also died? Tumblr. Tumblr also.
I was very late to the Tumblr game.
Same.
Yeah, but I had a few years there where it was my social media of choice, if you could even call it that. It was just my website of choice. And man, that's
the halcyon days, those few years where Tumblr was just genuine, like it felt like the Wild West of the internet almost in the modern age, right? Like it really was that for a time. And I mean,
I still know some people who are still very active on it. Like it's not dead like MySpace is.
It's
like
just,
Tumblr is still active, but it's
you take away the illicit materials, and it's only a matter of time until it
I forgot about that.
That's all.
Okay, well, I didn't use it for, NSFW things all the time. No, I didn't. I just used it to look at like cool, pretty photos, and then eventually there was a time where Taylor Swift was really big into Tumblr, so then I was using it to. Oh my god, for like 2 years during the 1989 era, it was just my goal to get Taylor Swift to like one of my Tumblr posts, and it never happened. But you know what? It's okay.
It's fine
All right, so I had a good time.
because she did.
I don't regret it.
She did. After that, I assume because it was delicate, so it was reputation, right? Like she did.
Yes.
She did retweet.
She liked one of my
she
tweets.
She liked one of your tweets.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
She got my Twitter taken down. That was cool.
That was, oh my god, Mario, when I was looking stuff up for this, when I was like revisiting some sort of stuff, I was going through a TikTok and I saw your like,
Taylor, I posted a TikTok with your song in it on Twitter and they banned me. That Mario Rivera. I want my Twitter back. Please help me, Taylor Swift. You're my only help.
Mario, if I had an in, I promise I would have messaged her and yeah. I'm sorry, I couldn't do that for you.
It's okay.
yeah.
Oh man.
Going way back to an earlier point in the conversation, I just want to talk about my version very briefly of the knoll, which was the orchard, the Abbey Orchard. Ooh. In the shadow of our city's namesake cathedral, the Cathedral and Abbey Church of St. Alban. There is the Abbey Orchard, and this was the place where I met with a group of. I got introduced to a group of kids who I didn't go to school with, but hung out with like on the weekends, like on a Saturday afternoon. The emo kids, the goths, and our word for it as well at the time, like skater kid, was like also grebo. Grebo, and people who were very much into that subculture, but would also mock each other for it because it was high school. You were dumb teenagers. You would say like, "Oh, I'm a filthy grebe." Like this was something that would happen at school. One grebo, one emo kid, one goth to another. Like it was.
I feel like the 80s were Goonies, and then in the UK it was Grebos.
yeah. Grebo was a whole thing. Yeah, it was.
Love it.
But
Joe, did you also hang out in a cemetery? Was there ever like a cemetery by the old cathedral?
There was. But actually, weirdly enough, that side of the cathedral was not the place where we hung out. Like, it was like, it's like.
That would have been too spooky.
No.
Yeah.
Gotta hang out in the orchard amongst the fruits.
Yeah, amongst the fruits and amongst the, the hard cider, the the kids would smoke.
Edge. I didn't do anything until college, so
I was straight edge until the last day of high school. Then I smoked pot, and I was like, "This ain't straight edge anymore. Let's go."
What a way to go out, though. That's great.
It's like this is what it's like. I've been missing out for years. What am I doing?
I was invited to so many like last day of school parties, and I didn't go because I was scared. I just stayed at home.
So yours was you were book smart, but you just didn't go to the parties. You didn't go out. Did you see that movie?
I was barely even book smart. I was just too afraid to get high. I was too scared.
That's awesome.
If I touch the weed, they'll know.
Yeah. I had a reputation,
I do love that we all have that area in our minds, and where it's representative of time and place. For Cait, it's the knoll. For you, it's the orchard. For me, it was this place called Game Kingdom, which was that store.
Yeah,
where I would go to. So I love that we all have those places, and that seems to be a fun touchstone that we all have in common. That we're able to discover all these wonderful things.
And genuinely, like finding your tribe. Mm-hmm. It was a group of people who I didn't go to school with, where I wasn't going to be made fun of for liking Fall Out Boy or My Chemical Romance, where I wasn't going to be told for whatever reason by man who won't remain nameless because he's never going to hear this, called Adam Bloomfield. But he was like, he had been to see Blink-182 live, like, at that like 2003 like self-titled era, like where they were still one of the biggest bands on the planet, and he was one of those like gatekeepy people who was like, oh no, yeah, Fall Out Boy suck. Like, whatever, like those sort of bands. I'm just sort of like, You don't realize the fallout, and now, of course, I know I'm not like, being intimidated by, some kid who was bigger than me or whatever. But it's like, these bands were influenced by Blink. Like they were, some of them were, Blink cover bands, like so many of them and all this sort of thing. And, but I really think it's great that we almost got like our own. And I'm in their own way, like it is happening for kids now, right, with different genres and different artists. But I think this was the true kind of like, well, true is a very weird word to use, but this really did. Looking back on it, it seems as though it was a revival of the bands that people like Gerard Way grew up on, New Order, Descendants, Joy Division, like whoever, like these punk bands that we then got, kind of almost like another. It was repackaged in such
like a filter, through.
Yeah, it was filtered through, but also presented in such. They really did their own thing with it because they were able to take it to the next level and have it be commercial. More than it was, but still starting out in those basement shows, which, God, if I could go back to like, New Jersey in the like, in like the early 2000s or whatever. And
I watched all those documentaries and I've seen like the smallest clubs that they've been in to the largest stadiums, and it's wild. Going back from their, I think it's, Murder on the,
Life on the Murder Scene?
Life on the Murder Scene DVD, which also had a documentary attached to it, and watching,
like a video diary,
all their struggles, all the way from their smaller clubs to all the bigger venues, to then going to the Black Parade where they were actually live in Mexico. That documentary is also fantastic to see where they become, and it's this large theater with all these just like beautiful like mix of Mexican art mixed in with the Black Parade, and it was just so cool. But yeah, no, I actually, you bring something up that I wanted to sort of tie up with, is what were some of your early experiences going to concerts in this era? I mean, did you ever go to any of these things? I'll tell a few stories, and then any fun things. Like one of the biggest things was my very first concert was the Warped Tour in 2005, which starting off is wild to say out loud because it was prime time emo shit, because I was there when My Chemical Romance was playing, Atreyu, Avenged Sevenfold, All American Rejects were there, Fall Out Boy was there, but you couldn't see all of them. That was the craziest part of the World Tour, is that they're all playing at the same time.
That's any festival, any day, like where they're, putting bands together. Like we have this, not a Warped Tour equivalent because it doesn't tour around as much, but like we have Slam Dunk over here. And or just festivals in general, Reading, Leeds, Glastonbury. It's like, there's, potentially up to like 100 bands over the course of a weekend or whatever, or even 50, 75 over the course of a day, and you have to. Okay, so tell us about your first Warped Tour experience, Mario, because I need to know, because I've never been.
I'm so jealous.
So like, well, this is, I was 15 years old. My sister was 13, and she was also a heavily My Chemical Romance fan. She actually brought her folder of all of the pictures she had cut out of magazines and like pasted together, and I don't know why she brought it. I don't know if she thought she was going to present it to Gerard or something. But I'm sorry, I'm calling you out, Melissa.
That's not a call out. That's an honorable mention. That's amazing.
Honorable mention. And I was with my friends, Gina and Daniel. We all went together, and it's just wild because you're just walking in down and then you hear songs you remember, but they're being played far away, and you're like, "What the hell's going on?" And I remember seeing Fall Out Boy over here, and was like, "Okay, we're gonna keep moving," and we're gonna go over here, and I hear All the Back and Rejects, and I'm like, "Okay, cool,
move along."
Exactly. I'm like, where's My Chemical Romance gonna play? Okay, they're gonna be in this theater. Let's try to get as close to as possible. And I remember as we're walking up to the theater, somebody pushed me in my shoulder like this, like I got hit from the behind, and it was this little smaller guy, and he walked past me, and I looked at him. I'm like, holy shit, is that Frank from My Chemical Romance? And like, yeah, Frank like actually bumped into me and kept going. I was like, this is awesome. Okay, we're in the right spot. And then we waited literally like for hours for them to play. We were like getting very, very close. And like I said, she was my 13-year-old sister. And where Treyu was going to play before they did. And we were waiting, and then Treyu was getting ready to go on stage. And then something happened where the crowd went bad. This is actually a sad story. Crowd went bad. A lady fell over, and then people just kept stomping on her.
No.
It was awful. Absolutely awful.
God,
and immediately Big Brother mode kicked in. I was like, all right, we got to get the fuck out of here. Sorry, Melissa. You can't get any closer to the stage because clearly there's some psychopaths here.
Exactly, yeah.
So I remember, I'm a more round guy. So I turned around. I was like, pregnant, moving out, pregnant. I'm pregnant. Get me out of here. I'm pregnant. Right. And I kept saying that. People were laughing, obviously, as I was saying that. But it was the easy way to get me through. I pulled it. So she understood. But obviously, it was like, damn, okay, that was pretty crazy. And then Atreyu played, and they fucking said bad things to the crowd to make, say, like, get the hell out of here. That was bullshit. Which is good on them. And then My Chemical Romance playing. It was the first time I got to see them live. Was at the Warped Tour, like playing the album, and like it was like cool, like to see all that.
I'm still glad you got to see them at least. Like it wasn't something where you felt you had
close.
to. Yeah. But it's like a lot of the time you don't even necessarily need to be that close. Like it
exactly. You just need to experience the moment, and I think the moment was definitely worth it, especially for even my sister, which I thought was really great. And we ended up seeing them 3 more times after that, like a different iteration. So that was fun. And then the night ends with Offsprings and Event Sevenfold end the night, and it was a fantastic first experience of, other than that one instance of, hey, these are cool. And I haven't gone to a festival since the last year, when I went with Frank and a bunch of people from 6-1 Indie. We went to go to Riot Fest, and My Chemical Romance was actually supposed to be there, but they've obviously delayed because of the worldwide Panini, which was fine. But we got to experience some other bands, and that was really cool. Morrissey played. I didn't care. I was too high and drunk. I left. But otherwise, I got to see Rise Against again, and that was really cool.
Yes.
Haven't saw them since seeing them with My Chemical Romance years before. So that was really cool. So yeah, that was my first instance. Now the second major memory of this time frame was a quick Nintendo Fusion Tour, which was you get to play the Wii and Zelda, or go watch Fall Out Boy up top, and that's what we did. We watched Fall Out Boy in the smallest theater. It was awesome.
This happened. This was a thing.
That was a thing. Nintendo Fusion Tour. Yeah, so cool. I remember
hear about this. That's crazy.
The only quick story that I'll tell, and I've told this before, but I'll tell it here. I don't know if you guys heard of the story before.
Do it.
There was a band that started that opened the show for everybody, and I didn't think they were good. I actually was like, this sounds weird. I'm not into them. End of the night, we go to the bottom where the Nintendo stuff is, and they're handing out like little Mario stickers. And my girlfriend at the time spotted the lead singer of that band and wanted to take a photo with him, and I was like, all right, fine, we'll do it. So I take the photo. He signs the Mario sticker. He hands it to me. A month later, a music video played on TV about a wedding. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, it's them. It's that band.
Panic at the Disco.
Like, it was Panic at the Disco. I thought they were terrible.
No,
when I first saw them.
Wait, what?
No, but that's, I think, part of the reason why you thought that is because they were. Because what had happened was, from my recollection of their history at least, because I am, if nothing if not an obsessive fan of emo music from that era, is that they had these like demos they've been putting online. Pete Wentz got a hold of them and was like, "You're coming with us to support us on the tour." And they had not had that much experience playing live.
No,
they were like with them along for the ride. He like signed them to Fueled by Ramen. His the subsidiary of like Atlantic or whatever it was. But they were not prepared for it whatsoever. And so those really early that first like My Chemical Romance like support leg when they were on tour with Fall Out Boy was not good. Like it was just like they were kids. They were like 20 something. Like and they took the opportunity. Of course they did. But yeah, they were not put together.
For the record, I was not exclaiming like, "Oh my god, you thought they were bad." It was just I did not think that the punchline of that story was going to be.
You did not put it together.
I did not put it together.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I jumped on that, Mario.
Yeah.
I was.
No, that's okay. No, it's okay. But yeah, it was Panic at the Disco, and then I love that album. Don't get me wrong. I actually really do like it.
No, it came together in the end, even though it's
it came together, and then I've heard them. I haven't seen them live, but I've watched videos of them live. I'm like, yeah, they actually sound much better. It was just the reason is because that album's very like digitized and very very electronic-y, and the way they did it live wasn't vibing with me at the time because I was there for Fall Out Boy. I was there for Motion City Soundtrack, and there was another band that was there, and it was a great night. And then they were at the beginning of it, so it was just it is what it is. But yeah, that was a fun night. I was like, oh yeah, I saw Panic at the Disco before they were fucking Panic at the Disco, so that was cool.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Cait,
that's a great story.
I think we did explore first like live shows maybe on the first episode. I can't remember if we did or not now. My memory is terrible. Did we talk about that?
I have a specific MySpace era
Do it.
Concert experience that definitely will not vibe with anyone and with everyone, and I'm not going to say that I was even a fan of going in the first place. This is just a story that happened. I think I was 16 or 17, and one of my friends at the time was very into Jeffree Star, who was very big on MySpace.
Thank you for bringing that up. I was going to bring that up, actually.
I saw Jeffree Star in a very small venue in my hometown. My friend actually got up on stage and like danced with him at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a wild experience. I knew like one of the songs, like that was it. Like, cause I mostly just went like for support because my friend wanted to go, and like we were kids, and so like he wasn't going to go alone. So we went, did that, and then my friend somehow got us like backstage afterwards, and I did not partake. I pretended to, but we smoked pot with the band. Not Jeffree, but the band.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what Jeffree was doing.
Fair enough.
Probably. I don't even want to think about what Jeffree might have been doing at that time. But anyway, but that was an experience, Yeah.
Well, I'm happy you brought Jeffree Star up because in the same sense of like that was part of a place and time, and the way that he's been able to go past that, but in bad directions still. But ultimately as a touchstone, because they were a figure face, like in terms of music on Facebook. They were like MySpace music. Like if you described them at the time, they were MySpace music. They were trashy, just like in your face, like, but they were like anthems for really angsty kids. And then obviously very androgynous and very much trying to break that like gender, like sort of like dysphoria thing, just like totally changing it up. It's like, I think as much as the shit that he's been a part of, there was a starting point of where I think there was a openingness of a door that definitely started, I think, on MySpace because of him. But that's just my opinion, not necessarily the truth. At least in terms of my eyes, where I was seeing that, because growing up, mostly a half white, half Mexican boy in a really proud neighborhood, you don't see these things. And so you're only exposed to it in a very small bursts, and you don't know how to react to them. And that was one of the first semi-positive. I mean, the music was what it was. But in terms of like, okay, there's a world outside of the thing that I'm used to, and I'm very curious about it. And curiosity, I think, was what grew from it. And that's why I feel like we're in such a big booming period of today. Not necessarily was they the beginning of it, but they very much, I think, could have been the start for a lot of people.
I mean, my friend that I went with, I'm so sorry, Joe, but like the reason that we went is because my friend is trans, and in our small town, like we didn't have, there was like no representation of that. I mean, she had to start doing homeschooling after freshman year because she was bullied so badly. And and then like when we were 16, 17, like, she still then identified as a gay man, but, and was like cross-dressing, like that's what she would refer to it as. And Jeffree was kind of like this like pinnacle of like ooh, they're out there doing it. They're so confident. They're amazing. People love them. And that's kind of what I want to be. And that's kind of like who she idolized at the time, to be honest. And so, like, we didn't later know what would happen with Jeffrey and everything. I mean, I will say that like Jeffrey really, has come a very long way and very much is a savvy business person and really was a self-starter. And like I applaud them for that. Like I think that's great. So like I think it's awesome that Jeffrey was kind of there as like a person to look up to in a time where, being different was still like scary. And even with the opening of the internet, the internet opening up and people being able to like find different facets and like different subcultures to join, like, it was still really hard to be yourself if it was different. So like, that was really cool, like discovering different people and different artists on platforms like MySpace and Tumblr. Like 2000s was like really good for that,
Yeah. The only other touchdown is Eminem and Elton John performing together. Like that's literally all I could think of. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wait, when was that?
that was to the Grammys.
Yeah,
that
the
was
Grammys.
like,
They did stand together.
Oh,
they did stand together, which was a moment where like Eminem, obviously, if you listen to the Marshall Mathers LP specifically, is very rough when it comes to dealing with it. And then but the coming together of both Elton John and him sort of bridged the gap of like, I think a lot of things that we don't do today, which is like, hey, I said some really terrible things. I'm sorry. You're hearing me out, and then you're listening to me, and then now we're coming together and making something beautiful. I think that's awesome. We don't do that enough these days. We just sort of cancel. But yeah, that was a moment in time.
But
about it,
but also to think about the real. So Stan, that song originally featured the sample of Dido.
Yes.
Like a huge artist at that time who really, and I don't know how it was on the American side of things. Like she was very popular in England, and
I loved Dido.
Yeah, and to have that, again that fusion of like, it was samples are not new to music at that time, like, but actually, a joining of artists who you wouldn't put them together. It's it's chalk and cheese, right? Like it's completely different. And I was thinking when you were talking about like first concert experiences and and concert experiences in general. I've got like my first ever one was I felt almost late to the party seeing like Block Party in 2007, and and then just it literally that was my first ever concert. And after the fact, I was like, oh my god, watching videos on YouTube, like I wish I'd been to see the Killers in the year before when they were doing Sam's Town, all this sort of stuff. But that started something which then just under like about 7 years later was I wanted to like go on tour and film bands and things like that, and I eventually got to do that. But before that, when Fall Out Boy came back from their hiatus and did Save Rock and Roll, which they again featured Elton John on one of those on the title track from that album, they played Wembley Arena here in the UK, and I decided that was going to be the show where I tried something that I wasn't seeing, and I took my love of like documentary style filmmaking and live music, and I wanted to put them together. But I emailed them. I emailed their PR people. I wasn't going to get an interview with Fall Out Boy. I wanted to maybe put that in there if it could have happened, but it didn't. And maybe it will one day. Who fucking knows? But my idea was I'm not seeing anything right now, which is going to a show, footage from the show, and talking to the fans at that show about why they're there and why they love that band and that music, and sort of bouncing off of that was what I was thinking about, because I don't have a Jeffree Star story. I'm sorry, but in general, the idea of these bands, this music, this representation, being an outlet for people, being something where you can feel like you're not alone, where you can process these complex, difficult emotions through that. I spoke to people that day, and this footage is like, these videos like up on YouTube. The series I did was called Face in the Crowd, and I spoke to people I'd never met until that day, and was like interviewing them in the queue, in the line before we went in for the show. And like this one girl talked to me about how Fall Out Boy's music had helped her through her Bella knows Bella the cat there had helped her through her struggles with an eating disorder, and I was like, I'm like standing there, like, on camera, it's me talking to this woman, and I'm like, fuck, like, because I didn't go through that experience. I don't have that to relate to it, but the music that I had bought that ticket, I had seen Fall Out Boy. I wanted to see Fall Out Boy that day because their music had helped me through so much. And the same goes for My Chemical Romance. The same goes for, all of these artists we've been talking about. And I think as much as we love and connect with the imagery and the kind of the actual the reason why it's called emo music is the emotion, like you said at the beginning, Mario, the emotional of it all.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Couldn't say it better myself.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite band in high school was actually, I don't know. I guess some people considered them kind of emo, but they weren't really. But Death Cab for Cutie, and I actually got to see them live in high school as well, and it was like a very like intimate show. That was like my favorite band. That was the music that really, like, oh my god, spoke to me.
When Soul Meets Body, it's a fantastic song.
When Soul Meets Body, I will follow you into the dark.
I'll follow you into the dark.
That's the Death Cab for Cutie song, right? Like
that was the Death Cab for
Yeah.
Cutie song that was on like half of my friends' MySpace profile
And
when it came out.
I'm not mistaken, they were they two other bands before, or one band? Was it Postal Service?
The Postal Service.
Postal Service. Yeah.
Wait, Postal Service became Death Cab for Cutie?
Ben Gibbard, the lead singer of Death Cab for Cutie, he did the Postal Service was like a side project for him.
What? I never even knew that.
Yeah.
I actually went to their 10-year anniversary tour show where they did like they performed pretty much every single Postal Service song because they only did the one album.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. That was all he did. Oh my god, it was an amazing show. It was so good.
I am going down a rabbit hole again.
Do it.
After this. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going. It's funny. I've been. I don't listen to a whole lot of new music other than whatever sort of shows up on TikTok. I'll start pulling through. The one band that I've actually been pulling through lately is a band called Wet Leg. You've already heard of them? They're on TikTok a lot. They have a song called Shay's
I don't know
Lounge.
them by name.
I heard of them recently before a show I just went to when we were talking in the bar beforehand. I had not heard of them. And someone was talking about them in a way of like, oh yeah, like Wet Leg, they're doing so well. And I was just like, I don't think they're doing that well because I've not heard of them. Like, but that was a very much like old man kind of like.
No, it definitely is like, oh, I've heard of them. Yeah, so clearly they're not doing well. But they have those like extremely catchy, like off the cuff lyrics that are pretty awesome. Where it's like, and then they're also very brazen. But yeah, their sound is started going me back to the rabbit hole of like, oh, I really do want to listen back to the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, or listen to White Stripes, or listen to like those indie bands. So it's funny how these things go in cycles. That makes me want to come back in the same way that emo kind of has a semi resurgence with My Chemical Romance was coming back from retirement, but then they had to go away again.
I am due to see them, hopefully. But maybe this will have aired by the time it goes out. But like my fingers are double crossed because I've got two dates where I'm planning to see them in future, and
I'm seeing them in October for the very first time.
Yes,
I'm very excited.
Mario, have you got tickets for any?
I bought the Riot Fest tickets to see them, but then they skipped out 2 years in a row. So
Anything this year though?
they're supposedly going this year. So I would probably see if I can still grab those, which I should be able to. So
Yeah.
that'd be great. I would love it. It would be a wonderful return. I got so jealous when the few people that did get to see them live before they had to go back.
Oh my god, the one show, literally the one show in like LA, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, the forum, which they did that whole video for, which that video, if you have not seen it, is incredible.
Yeah.
It is the Avengers of My Chemical Romance stuff for sure.
Oh, it's so
But yeah, no.
I tried to get tickets for that LA show and it sold out in 5 seconds.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I think that is a good place to call it, because we'll see you at the next show. And that next show will be the next episode of Ridiculous Passions. But before we go into that, Mario, is there anything that you would like to tell people about, considering that this will air at some point in the next month or two? Anything? What you got going on in you know?
If this is going to be in the month or two, then basically follow me over at Point in Progress, where we're still doing our Point in Progress main show. MC University, which is my Marvel show with Sly, where we talk about old MCU movies before they get integrated into the new MCU with Doctor Strange, which is clearly happening. And then also, I have a little fun project should be already out, is by Tremors in Review. Send off to Kind of Funny. I love them so much. They keep joking about doing Tremors. I love Tremors, so I decided I did it instead. I just did I did 3 of the 7 movies. So watch that all on Point in Progress. As for my TechRaptor work, watch what all the lovely people do over there at TechRaptor on YouTube and or their TikTok channel. So please, definitely check those out.
Yes, so go to Point in Progress. They're on Twitch. They stream live on there, as well as their YouTube channel, Podcast Services. You can get Mario Rivera, as well as that Mario Rivera on Twitch, and I believe YouTube as well. And,
yes.
I
don't post as much because I've been putting more of my focuses on the other two.
TechRaptor.
They're both doing this at the same time.
Yes, we got Bella and Nora Scritches going on. That's the most important thing.
Yes. So yeah, that's where you'll find me.
But yeah, and you can find Cait at CaitRose92 for all those absolutely amazing Twitter takes, as well as her modding all over the Twitchiverse. And you can find me at Medforce, blah blah blah. But make sure you follow at Passions Pod. You go to Ridiculous Passions on YouTube. You hit the subscribe button. You help us get that custom URL. And most importantly, until next time, thank you, Mario, for being here with us and talking about all things amazing and emo. Thank you, Cait, as well. Cait, did you have anything you want to say to the lovely people before we go?
No, just, keep loving what you love. Keep listening to the music you love. Keep not being afraid of what you like and who you are and what you want to do.
Yes. Make good things, be good, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye.
Bye.